Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that had severe health anxieties. And while it's very natural every now and then for us all to worry about our health, are we sick? Is there something wrong? Every now and then, there's people that will live like that relentlessly with a non-stop inner dialogue that something's wrong, something means something irretrievably bad is going to happen to them, could be their own mortality is at stake. And, you know, I recall when I was on holiday this summer, I was in Costa Rica, got a stomach bug, and I went Googling, and some of the symptoms were the same as yellow fever. So for a good half an hour, maybe an hour, there I was thinking that I might have yellow fever, which can lead to death in certain cases. I think it had a 20% mortality rate, until I did one extra Google search, which was to find that actually there was no cases at all in Costa Rica in the last year. And I think there was only 3 cases of yellow fever in the entire world in, you know, the last 12 months. And then I started thinking, okay, maybe it's something else. But the brain will go towards worst case scenarios sometimes, naturally. If it happens too much, then that can be a real problem. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is a strategy of reversing the strategy that most people with severe health anxiety have. And sometimes you'll hear the phrase, there's no need to worry now. I'll worry about that later. And what people are doing is they're sharing their strategies for worry. Most people have an unconscious criteria as to what it takes for a worry to happen. And worries are normally thoughts about the future linked to feelings of anxiety. And those feelings of anxiety can be very, very intense. In this particular client's case, her criteria for worrying was seeing or feeling something that was out of the ordinary, and then alarm bells started ringing straight away. Whereas for most people, that wouldn't be enough for them to worry. It might be that they notice something isn't quite right. Maybe they feel a pain or an ache, or they see a bump where there shouldn't be a bump, but they don't worry yet. They might get it checked out by a doctor, you know, or they might wait a few days to see if it goes away, to see if it's temporary. And then only then, you know, if there is some really extreme situation that can't be resolved easily, then they may worry. So not everyone has the same strategy for worry. What this hypnosis session does is it creates an inverse strategy for worry, that the worrying can happen later, but only if certain conditions are met. And even then, probably worry isn't the best thing, because in the Stoic philosophy, if there's something you can do about something, you do it. And if there isn't, you accept it. So even then, worry might not be the most useful thing to do, but it's still a vast improvement on worrying all the time. The key thing is that worry serves a purpose. The point of worrying is to seek out the resources to find if there's a problem and solve it. So the question is, how do you do that without anxiety? And in this particular hypnosis session, curiosity is the way that we achieve the same outcome, but in a low anxiety environment. If you saw something wasn't right, you might be curious. You might say, oh, there's a bump there. There isn't normally a bump, without freaking out and assuming it's some kind of malignant tumor. You might think, oh, I'll get that checked out. So curiosity or fascination also achieves the goal of figuring out what you can do about something, and if something needs to be checked out or diagnosed or whatever it might be. And that's what you're going to hear, that actually the same positive intention is being met, but in a more elegant way that doesn't require so much anxiety. And in this case, it's curiosity. Speaking of curiosity, if you're curious about working with me directly, there will be a link in the show notes where you can book a free consultation call to have a chat and see if my hypnosis may be useful for you. Or you can visit my website, adamcox.co.uk. For now, though, if you have any health worries or you've been lacking sleep because you've been worrying about your health, I think this session may be useful for you, in which case, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, just feel that you're drifting off to a place of calm and relaxation. The deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. And with your eyes closed, feel that you can pay attention to more of the sound of my voice. Breathing in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation, and exhaling that tension. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to scan your body for any clues of tension or anxiety. Maybe there's a muscle that's tense that doesn't need to. A sensation in your gut. As you breathe in that feeling of calmness, feel that it's melting away any tension, any anxiety. And as it melts that tension and anxiety away, feel that it's leaving your body as you breathe out. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, you're able to go on a journey of ever increasing relaxation. Breathing in and breathing out. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a place of complete peace and tranquility. Maybe it's a place in the countryside, a place in nature, and imagine what it would be like to be in that place on a warm day under blue skies. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel that you're becoming more and more of that calm, tranquil, relaxed version of you, drifting off to a place where change happens. Just imagine for some reason there is a very comfortable bed there in nature. It shouldn't be, but it is. Imagine the bed, big fluffy pillows, clean sheets, comfortable mattress, and just place yourself on that bed in nature, breathing in the fresh air, exhaling any tension or anxiety, and with your eyes feeling more and more deeply relaxed. With the breathing slowing down, just imagine that you're drifting off deeper into your imagination. 5, just releasing all the tension around your face. 4, focusing on your neck and your shoulders, just releasing that tension. 3, arms and legs getting limp, loose and heavy. 2, just imagine all your internal organs lungs, heart, stomach, diaphragm, just all completely relax. And then one, your legs, from your toes all the way to the top of your head, just feel so deeply relaxed that you imagine drifting off into a dreamlike sleep. And imagine in this dreamlike sleep, you can float forwards and backwards in time. And I want you to go back to a memory where you notice you are incredibly curious. And maybe there are clues to your curiosity. A facial expression, a body posture. I want you to observe that version of you that's looking intently curious and start to mimic that version of you. Breathe the same way as that curious you. Just imagine a similar posture. Maybe there's a facial expression, a furrowed brow, perhaps relaxed jaw in that curious version of you. And then when you feel that you're observing you at your most curious, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine stepping into that curious version of you. And then just scan your inner dialogue for your curious tonality. For many people, that curious tonality is attached to thinking noises like, with the overall presupposition of, I wonder. There are no shoulds and musts, but just the curiosity of, let's find out. So feel that there is a curious and fascinated part growing within you that will be an alternative way of dealing with things that are unusual, out of place, or out of the ordinary. In the past, you've tried panic or anxiety as a emotional state to deal with things that didn't seem right. And by all means, you could continue with that way of thinking. And if that was right most of the time, you could keep it that way. But if you feel that panicking and anxiety doesn't help to deal with things out of place, let me know by nodding your head. So let's imagine seeing if curiosity could give you the same benefits, but without all of the stress, anxiety, and worries. Breathe in and breathe out and feel you're becoming more and more curious. And then travel into your future. Observe yourself, noticing something in your life, perhaps in your body, that is different from how it normally is. Only this time, see yourself becoming curious, fascinated, perplexed by this thing that is different. It already feels different to see yourself dealing with something in a different way. Continue to observe this version of you that may have certain criteria in place. Maybe something needs to be different, but also not temporary. Maybe it needs to be different, not temporary, but also not explainable. And imagine observing this future version of you that uncovers something out of place, not temporary, but also not easily explainable. And imagine perhaps you do research, whether it's on the internet or seeing a doctor, but observe you with a composed, calm physiology, facial expression and movement. If you could read your mind, your inner dialogue would be slow and steady, curious and fascinated. Observe how you deal with the research and investigation. There is a curiosity, no anxiety. This is a version of you that believes that anxiety doesn't help, and therefore it's not needed. That curiosity is a better vehicle to use to get to the truth of what is happening, and if a resolution is needed. And imagine that you do get a test, a diagnosis, an answer, and there was indeed nothing to worry about. And observe that future version of you that was never worried at all, just curious. The information needed to realize that there was something serious going on is just adding to the curiosity. As you become wiser and more knowledgeable about your body, realizing that anxiety is not useful or necessary to get answers to questions about your own body and how it works. And if it already feels better to observe this future version of you dealing with things that in the past would have created worry and anxiety, but now create curiosity and fascination, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine stepping into that future version of you, feeling that something could be different, out of place. And imagine going back in time to a memory where you did find something different or out of place, but this time you will restart the memory where curiosity is the way in which you deal with that discovery. Almost like you're updating a memory as to how it would be if the future goes back to the past. Imagine updating a timeline where all the worries are replaced with just more curiosity. And if it feels like curiosity would have been a better vehicle to use in that context, let me know by nodding your head. And then feel like you're back in the present, activating a primed mind ready for a curious way of exploring what is the best way to deal with things out of the ordinary. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, feeling already that you're moving in the right direction. As you breathe deeply, allow yourself to feel a growing sense of calm, understanding that your body communicates with you in various ways, urging you to observe before reacting. With every exhale, release the urge to jump to conclusions, feeling it is now replaced with the curiosity to explore what your body is telling you. Always seeking understanding first. You can imagine your worries like leaves floating down a stream, acknowledging them but letting them pass, reminding yourself to seek evidence and understanding before holding on to them. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel a wave of reassurance wash over you, knowing that temporary changes in your body are often just that, temporary, and certainly not a cause for immediate concern. Empower yourself with the thought let's wait and see, embracing patience as your body navigates its natural ebbs and flows. Maybe you can visualize yourself as a wise observer of your own health, approaching each new observation with a balanced mix of curiosity and skepticism, seeking clarity and evidence. You can encourage within yourself a sense of detachment from immediate reactions, allowing space for thoughtful consideration and evidence gathering about your health. You will focus on what is different or unusual, but giving it time to reveal its nature, understanding that not all that is observed is a concern. With each breath in, strengthen your resolve to approach health changes without fear, adopting a mindset of curiosity and rational observation and inquiries. And you can promise yourself to treat brief and temporary changes in your body with a calm observation, knowing that all too often they resolve without intervention. Allow that analytical part of your mind to ask the question, is this really different or unusual? Or is it something brief and easily explainable? Allowing this question to guide your response to either letting go or generating sufficient curiosity to answer the question. Allow yourself to embrace the philosophy of no point in worrying now, understanding that time often brings clarity to health matters. Your body is resilient, and not every change signals a problem. As you seek evidence and understanding before reacting, curiosity increases patience, and patience increases curiosity, guiding you to wait for evidence before forming conclusions. Curiosity leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to peace of mind, encouraging a healthy, inquisitive approach to your well-being. And perhaps there's a way of thinking that when things are different or unusual, it just requires curiosity and time, guiding your approach to health observations with wisdom and patience. And just imagine the future worries already triggering that curiosity as opposed to worry. You notice something. It isn't temporary, and it's not easily explainable. And that opens up the portal to infinite curiosity until you get the knowledge and answers that you need. And if your unconscious mind accepts that anxiety is not necessary for the answers to the unanswerable questions of the moment, let me know by nodding your head. And feel like you're there on that bed in nature, feeling like something has changed, that an old way of thinking is being updated with a new way of thinking. Each time you catch yourself worrying instead of being curious, just imagine rewinding it and trying again through the lens of curiosity. You can't always catch the first thought, but you can decide how you follow it. So even an anxious worry could be followed with curious intrigue. Breathe in and breathe out, returning to the present, as very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling there is a new framework for thinking, that rather than looking for reasons not to worry, you will require evidence even before it becomes a possibility. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.